So you're going to list all of the people that you're going to buy gifts for this season. Your kids, your spouse, your parents, your nieces and nephews. So then when you have all of the people on that list, then you're going to go through and you're going to allocate a reasonable amount to each person. If you're starting early, you can get things done a lot more quickly. And then you know that you're prepared, which allows you to be calm as we're getting into crazy time for the season. Hey there, I'm Kaylin Wood, and this is Money Matters for Moms, the show where busy moms turn overwhelm into abundance. Each week we'll talk side hustles, saving hacks, wealth tips, and some energy tips to help make it all stick. Real tools for real financial freedom. No ramen required. So it's the 1st of October today, and I wanted to talk about something that I know is top of the brains for all of us at the 1st of October, Christmas shopping. Now, I know we're barely out of summer, at least that's what it feels like here. And I always roll my eyes when the stores start bringing out Christmas stuff in July and, Valentine's Day right after the Halloween candy goes away, right? But the fact of the matter is that if you do think about these things ahead of time, you really can save big and you can avoid a lot of chaos if you start planning now. Obviously, this is the same concept if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever other occasion. I was raised Christian, and that's what I celebrate, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I'm just going to brag a little bit on the fact that I saw something, acted quickly, and I'm very happy with it. So in our house, our youngest especially loves advent calendars. So I was at Costco and I saw this big boy, and I am so thrilled with it. So it's hiding, and he'll get to see it when we're a little closer. So if you are shopping early and you're strategic about this, you can avoid the last minute stress, which can be really a nightmare. And you can also find ways to keep your wallet happy so that when you get to the actual celebration time, it's a more heartfelt and more joyous season. If you don't start planning ahead, then frequently you'll find yourself scrambling last minute, making impulse buys just to make sure that you've got something for everybody. And unfortunately, it's a reality that the closer you get to the holiday season, the more prices tend to increase because the things that are left and are available are starting to become harder to find. And so it's a supply and demand issue, right? If there's a lot of demand, then the prices can go up. And of course, you may end up buying things for people that they don't necessarily want, like maybe that chia pet that's up next to the register, but it's something that you can cross off the list. So if you're shopping early instead, you can be very deliberate, and you can also keep an eye out for deals. So the first thing that I would tell you to do is to set a budget. So figure out how much you really want to spend, what budget is realistic for you. And you need to be thinking about all of the different things that you're going to be purchasing, right? So where you can, eliminate things that you don't need to buy. For instance, instead of buying for every single person in your family, maybe you pick one group in your family that you're going to buy for. You have 3 siblings and each sibling family buys for one other sibling family. Or you decide that you're not going to buy for your siblings anymore, you're just going to buy for your nieces and nephews. Maybe you and your friends decide that instead of giving each other gifts, you'd rather go out and spend the day together or have dinner together. Or one of our neighborhood families has cookie decorating, and so we get together and make cookies and spend time together that way. For coworkers, maybe you ditch the gifts and you have a white elephant exchange, or all of you get together and decide that you're going to use some of that money that you would have spent buying gifts that nobody maybe wants from each other, and you're going to donate to a charity. So just think of ways that you can eliminate the stress of buying gifts that aren't really even necessary. So then when you have your budget, you can break it down by the person that you really do want to buy for. So you're going to list all of the people that you're going to buy gifts for this season. Your kids, your spouse, your parents, your nieces and nephews. And then you probably should also add in some cash for people like your mail carrier. We have a milk delivery person, teachers, etc. And so once you've had that list, I suggest putting it by and thinking about it for a week or so, just to make sure that you haven't forgotten anybody. So then when you have all of the people on that list, then you're going to go through and you're going to allocate a reasonable amount to each person. So let's say that you are trying to keep your spending within $500 for all Christmas gifts for the season. So then you say, okay, I'm going to spend $100 per kid. I'm going to spend $50 for my spouse and $25 for each of our parents and for our nieces and nephews. And my kitty is reminding me that he may need some kitty treats. So maybe a $10 gift card for the mail carrier, the milk carrier, etc. And then $25, $50, whatever, to your school for the PTA gifts for the teachers. Now, some people like to give individual gifts to the teachers. I actually have been told that it's a better idea to give it to the PTA for distribution because that takes away some of the stigma if, 3/4 of the class is giving gifts to each teacher and a few kids can't afford to give gifts to the teachers. So then after you have an amount for each person listed out, then you would want to create a gift list for each person. And the reason for this is that that's going to allow you to think about gifts that each person is really going to love. And having a list is going to help you stay focused and not overspend on some people. And it's going to help you to avoid some impulse buys. So if you happen to see something that you really love and you think your person would love, and it's not on your list, I recommend thinking about it for a day or so, unless it's, maybe if it's something like at a garage sale or something like that, then certainly you have to act fast. But if it's something that you'll be able to buy tomorrow, think about it for a day and decide, well, would my kid rather have this particular Blu-ray versus the Steam gift that I was going to give him, whatever. And if so, then adjust your list. So when you have your list all written out, make sure that it's all within your budget. And if it's not within your budget, then you need to make some decisions about, are you going to increase your budget? Are you going to change the amount that you've allocated per person? Or are you going to reduce the number of people that you have on your list? So, get creative with that. So then once you have your list set out, then you need to stick to it. So you're going to track your spending. So that means recording every purchase that you make and allocating it to the different people. So if you go to a store, you buy something for both of your kids, then of course you want to record each one separately so that you know how much you've spent for kid one, kid two. And then when you're done, check that person off your list and keep it in your mind that you're done. You don't have to shop for them anymore. So you're not going to add any more impulse expenses there. Now, if you're starting early, then you can look at things like back to school sales or Labor Day sales. Now, of course, we're beyond those things since it's the beginning of October, but we still have Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up. And so if you have any electronics on your list, especially, those are great times to be looking at those sorts of things. And then, of course, after Christmas is over, if you have things that you want to purchase for next year, like decor or wrapping paper or things like that, the after Christmas sales are a great time to stock up on those. But if you're looking at Christmas gifts for somebody else for the following year, maybe not so great because you've got to keep something around for an entire year and you don't necessarily know what people are going to be interested a year from now. So another thing about looking for discounts is you can sign up for newsletters from your favorite stores and also look for coupons. So as we're going through the year, you're going to get coupons from your favorite stores, right? You can also look into apps like price comparison tools. And if you're going to use those, then you would set up the things that you want to track. And those price comparison tools then can track the prices and let you know if the item drops in price. And you can also find apps that'll help you with cash back. So you can get cash back on your purchases, like percentages from a certain retailer, just by clicking from their app into the retailer to purchase. So that can really add up if you're comfortable with it. Now, here's the thing, you can get malware from those. So you need to be careful about where you're downloading those apps. So, just think about it and make sure that you're getting it from a respectable place. Now, another tip is you can buy in bulk. So, for instance, if you like making holiday gift baskets for friends and family, you could buy things in bulk like chocolates or teas or things like that, and then add little things to each person's basket that is personalized to them. You can also do the same thing, of course, for stockings. Another thing you could do is you could go in with a friend or a family member and you can buy stocking stuffers and, small items for both of your families, because frequently larger packages of candy canes or little Christmas Santas or whatever. Normally, if you buy them in a larger package, then each one is going to cost less, but you need to make sure, right? Because sometimes the larger packages just mean that you're spending more. So make an ounce by ounce or a unit by unit comparison. And then, of course, you could look into DIY gifts. Now, this is great if you are good at DIY and you really enjoy it. You could do things like making homemade bath bombs or scrubs, or one of our friends made homemade hot chocolate ornaments. So she took little plastic ornaments and she filled them with hot chocolate mix and little mini marshmallows and so forth. So they were really, really yummy. And then after we used the hot chocolate mix, then we were able to hang them on the tree. And then you could also do things like, photo albums or photo frames or baked goods. But you need to be careful because many people love the baked goods. Some people are trying to avoid sugar or carbs. So you need to know your audience. Now, with these DIY things, it is important for you to start early for putting together all of these, except for the baked goods, which would suffer if you're putting them together too early. But if you are doing some of these other things like the bath bombs or the hot chocolates or things like that, if you start early, then that's going to help you avoid that holiday crunch time when you're feeling so stressed and you're trying to get everything done at the last minute. Now, of course, shopping online, we're all shopping online these days, so this probably goes without saying, but if you're starting early, you can get things done a lot more quickly. And when you get them done quickly, then you know that you're prepared, which allows you to be calm as we're getting into crazy time for the season. And also, there's often free shipping when you are shopping early. So, of course, if you are shopping with Amazon and you have a Prime account, then you're going to get free shipping on anything that you're ordering through Prime. But also remember that the closer you get to the season, if you need something like tomorrow and you can't find it through Prime overnight, then you're probably going to be spending extra money on expedited shipping. So if you're not shopping through Amazon, then look for things in the stores that say, spend X amount of money and get free shipping. And then you might be able to combine purchases and get that free shipping. You should be setting aside money for your Christmas presents a little bit every month. And that means that you're taking the stress out of saving for Christmas, because when you get to the time to start spending these gifts, you've got some money set aside for it. If you tend to have difficulty with putting the money aside and keeping it aside until it's time to start spending on Christmas gifts, our credit union has something that's called a holiday account. And basically, you can start putting money into it at any time, but you can't get the money back out of it until October 1st. So October 1st, it will dump over into a different account. And then obviously you would have access to that different account. And so if your bank or your credit union offers something like that, it can be a good way to just keep a little bit of money set aside that you just can't get into until the season starts. Now, if you're buying a few gifts every month leading up to Christmas, then, as we've talked about it, it's better deals usually. And also it's less stress because you're not having that pressure to get everything done all at once. But you need to make sure that you are shopping intelligently, right? I made the mistake of buying ahead for my kids, and then they had a growth spurt, and then all of a sudden I had clothes that were too small for them. Or they were absolutely crazy about Dog Man. And by the time the Christmas gift that I had purchased 6 months ahead was, sitting under the bed and we pulled it out, they were no longer interested in Dog Man. They were interested in, I don't know, pirates. So you may want to think about items for people who may change their minds or grow out of something and hold off on those until later. But shopping ahead is also going to give you time to look for unusual gifts. There's an affordable arts festival in our area. And so sometimes I can find things there that I didn't know that somebody needed, but that's something that absolutely would make them happy. And so then you can stock up on things like that. Now, again, as I said before, if it's not on the list, you may want to think about it. So what I have done in those cases is I've looked at it, I've walked away, I've spent an hour or so doing something else at the arts festival and decided, yeah, that really is the right thing for that person. Came back and made that purchase. So it's not so much of an impulse buy at that point. So with all of that said, remember that the goal of all of this is to be able to enjoy the season, right? So you're not overspending and you're also not running around at the last minute shopping. So if you start early and you plan wisely and you buy carefully, then you can get to the time without all of that stress. But also remember, the gifts are the byproduct of the season, right? So concentrate on what's important, the love and the peace and the time with your family and with your friends. Thanks for tuning in to Money Matters for Moms. I hope today's episode left you inspired to take one little step forward. Check out the resources in the show notes and share this with another mom who's ready to thrive. You've got this, because abundance is easier than you might think.